Clutch Sports Talk. Let's go. What's up? Happy Friday to you guys. It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the house. I'm back with another episode. Man, it's Friday. Happy Friday to you guys. Man, hey, this is two occurrences this week, man. So I'm going to be probably doing this Mondays and Fridays, but I welcome everyone that's in the show. I got a jam-packed show today. As usual, we're going to talk about actually some football related news. Obviously, Richard Sherman, his legal issues. I want to talk about tight ends in the National Football League. Are they a hot commodity? I think they are. Also, I want to talk about two particular quarterbacks that are going into a very, 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 very important season for them, probably for their whole careers. That's Cam Newton and Big Ben Roethlisberger. And also want to talk about Damian Lillard right now. He earlier on today, it was reported that he wanted out of Portland. He's come back and said, I didn't say that, but the team really isn't up to par. And also tonight, I want to talk about the NBA Players Association. They actually approved for what I think through 2022, more playing games. Not a fan of that, but I'll talk about all that tonight. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. You know what it is. Let's go. Welcome back in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. It's Friday. It's me. I'm your host, Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the building, man. After a long layover, I came back this past Monday, got back on the live again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that show. Also welcoming everybody. And make sure if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do that now, man. I'm going to be working on some new content for that as well. Also follow me on all my social media platforms, as you can see scrolling down below. I appreciate that. And also like and comment. Make sure you guys like and comment and share. It's all good to the hood, man. But once again, it's Friday. Hope you guys are doing all right. But people that are not doing so hot right now, Richard Sherman. I believe he's a free agent right now. He just recently played for the San Francisco 49ers. He was involved in an altercation that led to his arrest, and he recently he posted bail earlier this morning. And, you know, there's some video, there's some audio from his wife calling the police. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I was actually really surprised to hear when Richard Sherman was arrested. And I was like, well, what could it be? He's a very smart individual, articulate. You know, obviously he graduated from Stanford. You're not a dummy if you go there. But for whatever reason, man, he's dealing with some mental issue problems, which is something that, you know, a lot of people struggle with, you know, in this country, in the world, actually. And so when I got the news that it was Richard Sherman who was arrested, I was really surprised. And then, you know, I actually saw the video today, the Zoom video or whatever it was called, of him actually trying to force his way into his father-in-law's house. Now, I don't know the exact details as to what occurred and why he was trying to force himself in his father-in-law's house, but you can hear someone in the background antagonizing him. He was pepper sprayed a little bit, but dude, it was not a very good look for him. Now, as far as his career is concerned, it's definitely tapered off. He's no longer considered one of the top elite cornerbacks in the football league. When he left Seattle, we can all kind of agree that injuries pretty much deterred his career there. And he ended up, you know, moving on, going to San Francisco. He's had a very nice career, solid career. A lot of people can argue he's had a Hall of Fame career. I don't know yet. I would say he's one. For one point in time, for a short period of time, he was one of the most lockdown cornerbacks we've seen in the National Football League. But given this news today, is it enough to keep him out of the league? No, I don't think so. You know, just because there were some factors that actually, you know, play into that. Number one, yes, there was some type of violence, but he really didn't hit anyone. He was aggressively trying to break into his father-in-law's house. But again, I don't know why, what happened, what's going on with that. If you guys know, let me know what's up with that. But as far as his career is concerned, you know, he could land somewhere. He can definitely land somewhere. Just based off his skill set, he still has some miles left in the tank. But I don't know if he's going to be getting a lot of offers, just because a lot of people are not going to want to deal with a lot of this stuff. Now, if he's definitely have mental issues, and when I say mental, it doesn't mean he's a crazy person or anything like that. It's just the fact that he's got some things he's got to deal with before he can even think about contemplating a return back to the NFL. So A lot has to happen with him. Now he posted bail this morning, I believe at 8:30. But again, he's got like 4 charges. 2 of them are, I believe, burglary and domestic violence. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. But we're gonna have to definitely follow this story and see what's going to happen with Richard Sherman. It's definitely not something that we all would expect from a guy like this, a guy, like I said at the top of the show here, a player of his caliber, not even a player, a man of his caliber and his articulate manner of speech. So very surprised that this happened to him, but we're going to follow the story as details develop. So, hey, I'm going to pray for him and hope, that everything works out for him in the end. So moving right along, 2 players, that I talked about in the promo of the show that really need to put up or shut up. It's time for them to actually make something happen. If not, their careers, I would say, are pretty much over. Now, Big Ben, we knew that his career is pretty much over. The way he finished last year, a lot of us thought he might have retired, but he decided, you know what, I'm going to run this back again. He did not like the outcome of their season. Their season really, they started off hot. I believe they went to 9-0 at one point, and then they lost like 4 or 5 in a row, close to. And then they ended up losing to the Browns. And to end their season, a team in which they thought they probably should have beaten, could have beaten, but they just weren't ready to go. And Big Ben did not play particularly well down the stretch, especially in the last month of the season. Now you look on the other hand, Cam Newton, a guy who switched team during a COVID season. He ended up getting COVID himself, missed tremendous amount of time, missed some games, kind of threw off, a lot of it, even myself, I did not like Cam Newton going there from the beginning. But when he got there, I saw what they were doing a little bit. I said, you know what? This actually might work. Who knows? And then he got sick. You missed COVID, and they were never able to kind of rekindle that little bit of magic and fire that they had before. Granted, he did not have a lot of talent to work with, but I think this year now we can all say Cam Newton definitely has an array of talent to play with this season. I mean, obviously Julian Edelman retired, but they got they got some guys via free agency, especially 2 tight ends and Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, guys that actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, made the top tight ends in the National Football League going into 2021-2022 season. So, and honestly, I think if everything goes well, his health stays okay, they actually might be all right. I'm not going to say the Patriots are going to win, but they both those gentlemen, Ben and Cam, definitely need to step up. Ben, I'm going to talk about Ben now. Like I said before, his season just was not it. It on all accounts. It just, even when they were winning and they were like 8-0, 9-0, I forgot what the record was at the time. There was some doubt, like, well, they're not really getting it done, really. Like a lot of the stuff that was happening was just, easy breaks, things that happen, maybe your defense won them a game or 2. It just didn't seem right. And then when it all mattered and when it came to the time for a bang to deliver, he just couldn't do it. Now, I don't know, if it was age, we all know his physical physique. He's not a guy that's in the gym. He's just not that dude. Now, from what I understand, he's dropped like 15, 20 pounds almost. He's looking good on the field. Will that help him? Has he found some type of new life in his team now? Now, he still has Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase, I forgot the receiver, Claypool, from Notre Dame, the rookie. So we'll see. They don't really have an offensive line. That offensive line, David DeCastro, he's gone. I'm not sure that was something that they needed to address in the draft. They really didn't. They did draft Najee Harris out of Alabama. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. Their defense is pretty much going to be pretty solid with TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick back there, but Big Ben is going to be the guy. He's going to be the driving catalyst. He's going to have to be the guy that's going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers to new heights. I mean, he's been there a while. I think a lot of us are kind of tired of him. I know I am. The Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, and I'm not throwing shade, I just think that they're a team that they've been solid for the most part. They just were never able to get to that big game, meaning the Super Bowl, and win it, quite some time since, Mike Tomlin took over and won the Super Bowl many, many, many years ago. But the fact remains that they had Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown pretty much in their prime, and they didn't even get close to winning a Super Bowl. So, that's why I feel like this is a make it break it year for Big Ben. On the other hand, Cam definitely, I mean, he was basically the Carolina Panthers decided, you know what, we need to move on. And that's what they did. So he goes to New England, which was an odd fit for me. Like I said before, he goes there, he struggles, and now he needs to reclaim. He thinks in his mind he's still a former NFL MVP, but his best days are behind him. Now he has better talent, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get it done. But out of the two, I think who bounces back better, I believe Cam Newton bounces back better, just because I feel like Big Ben, what he showed me, he could not even throw the ball, man. Like, he had a lame arm. Hopefully he worked out, but I still like Cam Newton. I think overall he's a better athlete at the position, and I think his ability to run and create might give him more plays to win games for the New England Patriots versus Big Ben, who's never been a runner, not known for his athletic prowess. So I'm really considering the fact that, he won't be able to win a lot of games just with his arm because he's just older. He's just older. And I don't know. I don't like the supporting cast that he has in Pittsburgh, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But who knows? They might change my mind and they might come out and start 10-0 again and maybe do everything all over again, but we don't know. But both of those two gentlemen, they know what's on the line. Their careers are in stakes because Big Ben is, I think if it falls to the wayside, he's done. He's retiring. Cam can still play in the league, but he probably won't be considered a starter anymore. And he who knows? He might not play well this season and he get pulled. And next thing you know, next guy up, and he's not a starter anymime. But I know in his mind, he doesn't think he's a backup. He thinks he's a starter. So it's time to put up and shut up with those guys, man. Speaking of putting up and shutting up, a list of the top 10 best tight ends in the National Football League was released yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I posted it on my social media account on Instagram. It's a good list. You got number 1, George Kittle. You got number 2, Travis Kelce. Number 3, Darren Waller. Mark Andrews at number 4. TJ Hawkinson, number 5. Dallas Goedert from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's at number 6. Hunter Henry, number 7. Evan Ingram from the Giants, number 8. Jonnu Smith, another Patriot tight end, number 9. And Zach Ertz. So that's the list. But I want to focus on basically on the top 3 guys. Now, the other guys are really good, but I think after the top 3, I wouldn't say it's a big drop off, but I'll say from an athletic standpoint, it's a huge drop off. And I'm talking about, and all these guys are athletic in their own right. But what I'm saying is that George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Darren Waller, these guys are freaks of nature. We all seen George Kittle play. He can run. He can run especially aggressively with the football after catch. Travis Kelce is a tremendous route runner. Darren Waller is just a phenomenon. The speed that this man has for his size. And the other guys are really good too, don't get me wrong. But my next point is that tight ends, man, they are probably one of the most important positions, in football, especially in the National Football League. What these guys do. I mean, now we've had great guys in the past, like obviously Gronk. We know what he was capable of. Jimmy Graham during his years in New Orleans. I mean, he definitely raised the bar there. And obviously we got to go back to, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates. Those guys are obviously Hall of Famers in their own regards, but I cannot remember, and I've been watching football, at least the National Football League, since, I don't even know, early 90s. So I'm telling my age there. I have not seen a collection of tight ends. And look, some of these teams have 2 top tight ends. I mean, literally, the Patriots and Philadelphia Eagles have 4 of the top tight ends in all the National Football League. So that tells you right there. Tight ends are not just used for blocking anymore. They're there to stretch the field. Some of them could definitely stretch the middle of the field. You look and control the middle of the field. You look at what Kelce can do. Kelce can run intermediate routes. He can go deep as well. And he presents a very, very, very odd matchup for you. You can't put a safety on him, too small. You can't put a linebacker on him, too slow. And same thing with Darren Waller and George Kittle. So I think wide receivers, we laud over them. We praise them. Like Colin Cowherd, one of my favorite sportscasters, says he feels that wide receivers are just icing on the cake. And rightfully so, I think. But tight ends, I mean, they can just do so much, man, in your passing game, especially if you're on a team with a creative play caller like an Andy Reid, even John Gruden in his own right. He may not have won a lot of football games recently, but his play calling ability is pretty good. And because the Raiders showed that last season, that they're one of the top 10 offenses in all the league. Their defense just sucks. And obviously we see what the San Francisco 49ers have been doing the last couple of years under Shanahan. And to get a tight end. That's why, I made a video a while back about the Dallas Cowboys possibly taking a guy like Kyle Pitts, because he's a extraordinary type of human being, and a guy like that you can't. But now there are going to be guys that come out, that are tight ends and, traditional inline guys, whatever, it works for them. There still are guys like that. But that list, I mean, literally, you look at that list again, and it's guys that all can catch down the field. And I think that's what you need in the National Football League. You have to push the ball down the field. And sometimes, wide receivers can be doubled. Not to say that tight ends can't be doubled, but in that area of the field in which tight ends play in, it's very hard. It's very hard for those who've never played nickel corner or safety, and you have to come up and guard a guy who's probably 2 or 3, 4 inches even taller than you, probably outweighs you by 20, 30 more pounds, and can run like a gazelle, probably, hell, even run faster than you are, and is in space. It's not like they're going to be on the outside. Some of these guys, they're off the slot. They play off the line just a tad bit. So, I'm really infatuated with tight ends, man. I really love having an athletic tight end. I like playing. I like seeing them play. But these guys are definitely athletic, and I think the future is bright. I think it's only going to get even brighter for tight ends in the National Football League as the years continue to press on. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Am I missing something on that? But I for sure can see tight ends, the wave of the future. I mean, really, they are, especially now that teams have two legitimate tight ends. Back in the day, tight ends were just used to block. That's pretty much it. And if you did throw them, it was like a hook curl, maybe sometimes to the flat, maybe over the middle occasionally if you had that kind of guy. I know the Dallas Cowboys did back in the day with Jay Novacek, but Jay Novacek is no athlete like some of these guys that we're seeing now. And we're seeing a lot of guys that played wide receiver who are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", being converted into playing tight end just because. It's just because. Like Tim Tebow, will he have a chance? I don't know. Tim Tebow's athletic, but I don't know if he's athletic as these guys. He might just be one of those traditional guys that, maybe you throw 2 out of the backfield or coming off the line of scrimmage, but he's not going to make the top 10, of course. But these guys that are all made the top 10, man, they are all exceptional athletes. But I really wanted to focus on the top 3 because those guys are just head over heels better than the rest of the guys on that list. And can arguably, between Waller, Kelsey, or whatever his name was, he said was Kelsey and Kittle, you could make an argument for any one of them being the top guy just because their athletic ability and their ability to play football. So I believe I'm a big fan of tight ends, as you can see. So I'm looking forward to the season and seeing how these guys play. All right. Shifting gears, we're going to be talking about the NBA a little bit here. Damian Lillard reports this morning were saying that he wanted out of Portland. About an hour or two ago, he refuted those accusations, saying that, he didn't ask for a trade, but he knows that this team is not a championship caliber type team. Now, I posted yesterday, there's a lot of rumors swirling around Damian Lillard and Ben Simmons in Philadelphia because the Sixers have said, hey, we're considering trading this dude. Now, a lot of people say Damian Lillard, a landing spot for Damian Lillard could be in Philly for an easy swap between Simmons and Lillard. I say no because Simmons is not the caliber player of Damian Lillard. Now, Dame is 31 years old, I believe. He's not a younger guy anymore. He's wasted his best years, I would say, in Portland. So what do they do? What are their options? If I had to list a few teams, one that comes to mind off the jump that in here, and I'm not just going to say any teams because a lot of people will probably say, well, you'll say the Lakers because you're a Laker fan. Yeah, I would love to see that, but the Lakers just don't have the draft picks or the commodity to even trade for Damian Lillard. Okay. Damian Lillard would have to really force his way out and specifically say, I want the Lakers. If not, whatever. But the first team that comes to mind is the Golden State Warriors. I can see them maybe getting rid of some of the younger talent like a James Wiseman or Andrew Wiggins and some draft capital, stuff like that, maybe to get a Damian Lillard who's disgruntled. And, the Portland Trailblazers can say, you know what? Well, we'll keep CJ McCollum. We'll take an Andrew Wiggins. When we'll take a James Wiseman who we don't really know yet. He's unproven, a young guy that just was drafted in this past year's draft. And the other team, the Clippers. The Clippers, that might be strange for some of you. Maybe you trade for Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. Maybe you say, Clippers, give us Kawhi Leonard for Damian Lillard. That might be more of an even trade because Paul George to me is like a number 2 still. Damian Lillard is a number 1. So I would have to say 1 for 1, right? So the Clippers and the Warriors for sure would be teams that I can say, I can see that possibly happening because they have some type of draft stock in order to give up in order to get a player of that quality. Now, I will throw in the Lakers there, but really, you would have to get rid of somebody, obviously, at Anthony Davis, which at this point, why not? Because he's not going to be healthy more often than not throughout the season. But do the Portland Trail Blazers want to deal with that? They probably could, but I don't think the Lakers would do that. LeBron's not going to let that happen. He's not going to trade his boy off for Damian Lillard, even though we know Damian Lillard is at this point in the juncture. Don't get me wrong. When AD is healthy, he's arguably one of the top 5 players in the league. But that's the thing. We don't know his health down the road. LeBron is not getting any younger. He's also suffered some injuries down the stretch. Who is another team that I can think about? I mean, Philly would have to give up a lot more. I mean, Ben Simmons and maybe a couple other guys, and maybe a sweetener with some draft picks. But I really don't see a lot of teams out there willing to give anything of that sort to get a Damian Lillard, or what Portland would be asking for. Because I think there will be suitors, but it's just the fact that the Trailblazers are going to be wanting a lot, because you're literally giving away your best. You're giving away your franchise, and rightfully so. They probably need to. I think they need to rebuild that thing. They need to start over, because here's the thing. I'm tired of hearing about the Blazers, the first round, getting in the first round and then they lose. That's just been the story. So it's like, and they keep throwing the same team out there. Now, if the coach was fired or whatever, he mutually parted way, whatever, it is what it is. But that team really, they're solid. They're not going to wow you. Damian Lillard makes them solid. But they really, I'm not saying they haven't done right by him, because how many people really want to go and play in Portland? I've never been to the city, so I can't speak on that. But I don't know if a lot of guys want to play in Portland. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know. But the Portland Trailblazers definitely need to reboot that whole thing, because it's not working. And if you bring out the same team again next year, if you're a Blazers fan, it's like, what's the point? I mean, literally, like, you don't want to see Dame go, but at this point, what's that saying? If you love someone or you love something, you gotta let it go. If you love him, man, if you think he's a baller, you gotta let him go, man. This guy has done it. He's won a lot of games for Portland. I would love to see him get more publicity, and I think he doesn't get a lot of love. I think we talk about a lot more guards than we do him. He's just recently starting to get a lot of love, but I've been following this guy from at least his second year in the NBA, and I thought he was one of the better point guards and guards in the NBA, but we don't talk about him because why? The Portland Trailblazers are irrelevant at this point. So, but like I said, I think Golden State and the Clippers, because the Clippers need a guard. They need a point guard. They need somebody that could run the floor and especially help out, maybe if you keep Paul George or you trade Paul George or whatever the case may be, with Kawhi, because Kawhi is going to shut himself down at least 20, 30 games a year, a season. How'd that work out for him? Not much, still got hurt anyway. So who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section, man. But we're going to keep moving, staying in the NBA. And this is the last topic for tonight before I let you guys go tonight, man. Quick show. So the NBA reportedly agreed to extend the play-in tournament through 2021-22 season. Now, a lot of people are excited about this. Me, for one, I am not that excited about this. I really, this is like, well, it is what it is. I don't know. I didn't look into the details specifically. I don't know if they want to add more teams to the play-in tournament. If anything, it's just more of a money grab to me. I really don't care. I think the whole thing was weird to begin with, but a lot of people like it. They love it. I guess it brings more drama. I don't know. I mean, the Lakers were in the play-in game. They ended up winning to get into the playoffs, and then ended up falling anyway. I mean, because what it does to me, you're just delaying the inevitable. At the end of the day, like you look at the Lakers that got in, right? The Phoenix Suns were a better team. They were healthier, and they just were a better team, and they won that series going away. Really, I mean, obviously. So if the Lakers were good enough, and granted injuries, it took their season for a ride, right? But and I don't even remember the other teams that were in the play, like the Wizards. I mean, like those teams would have made it and would have got smoked in the legitimate first round of the NBA. It just reminds me of the college basketball, the four to get in, or whatever the hell, the playing game for the tournament. University of Nova Scotia versus this other school for the right to play Duke in the first round. Like, who cares at that point? I mean, I don't want to sound ungrateful because I'm glad sports is back. But at that point, you've had 82 games to basically prove yourself. Why do we need to see, these teams that barely are getting in the play-in tournament compete to see who can get smoked first out of the first round? So that's why I'm like, to me, it's not a great product, because Indiana, I believe, was one of the teams. The Hornets was one of the teams. The Wizards, and in the West, it was Golden State, Lakers, I believe San Antonio and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies was a nice story, but we saw what happened with them. They ended up, they won the one game in Utah and then basically got smoked the rest of the games. So they are what they were. And that's what we knew there. I didn't need a playing game to help me determine, they might. This is not hockey. Now, some sports it does work for. I will say that. But like maybe baseball, I can see in baseball. Hockey for sure, I can see that if they did something like that in hockey, because it's been proven. We've seen teams in hockey and baseball that were on the bottom tier, the lower seeds. Just a few years ago in hockey, the St. Louis Blues, like they barely made the playoffs. They were an 8 seed in their division, in their conference, and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. Same thing in baseball. We've seen wild card teams have tremendous success, get their way to the World Series at least. But in the NBA, I think for the most part, we know who everybody is in the NBA. You're not going to tell me the Spurs are going to be much better because they get one more extra game to play in for the right to get in the playoffs, so we can just see them get smoked by somebody. The only way I feel like it works is if you have a big market team in the mix. And obviously, out of all those teams that I listed, LA and the Golden State Warriors, because they had the star cachet, they had the star power that you would tune in. You would tune in and watch that game. You would definitely tune in because it's LeBron, AD, he's there. Curry, you got guys of that caliber. But honestly, I'm not tuning in at 5 p.m. to watch Russell Westbrook at some time, especially, and I love Russell Westbrook, but he's not somebody I really want to watch all the time. So if that makes any sense. So a lot of people love the play-in tournament. I'm not a big fan. I just think it's more financially driven. But again, it works for other sports. I just don't think it works for basketball because like I said, the sampling is a lot. We have more to depict from. We know that this team is what they are. I mean, if you're a team that's struggling, you've been struggling all year, that's what you are. And that's what you're going to continue to do. You might get lightning in a bottle once, but in a 7-game series against a top-notch team who's been doing this all season long, you're not going to get it. It's not going to work out. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So, but anyway, a lot of people love it. I'm not. Prove me wrong. And I might agree with you. I doubt it, but hey, it is what it is. So, that's all I got, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys watched it, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. Hey, I'm going to be back Monday. I'm going to be recapping all the weekend's news from around the world of sports and get you guys ready. Also, make sure you guys check out the NBA Finals tomorrow. I mean, it's a pivotal game. I didn't talk about it today because at the end of the day, it's the Bucks and the Suns. Who cares? I mean, we'll watch it because it's something to watch. But at the end of the day, most of us really don't care who wins that series. And whoever wins is going to be, it's almost like how some people call the Lakers the COVID champion. It's going to be kind of like the same thing. A lot of guys got hurt this year, and these teams, they got some luck. But anyway, we'll recap that the finals on Monday, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be lots more to cover then. So until next time, everyone, you guys make sure you have a happy and safe weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. So hey, this is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Let's go.